for joining us right now on the Ball is Life podcast. We got a very special guest today, and he's basically, the man right now. He's the director and the founder of ISPS, International Slow Pitch Softball. Manuel. I don't know what you want me to call you, bro.
Manny's fine. Manny's fine.
Manny's fine. I know some people are very I guess you can say formal. So I don't,
Yeah, a lot of people go by my government name, Manuel T. Ferrero the third. Um, but you could call me Manny. A lot of my friends, almost all my friends, call me Manny, Manny Fresh, Manny White.
Oh, so I'm a friend? Oh man, I'm
Yeah,
honored.
yeah. And if you really want to go old school, you could call me Leche.
Leche. All right. So
Yeah.
before we
Hey,
even
but
start,
Joe, thank you. First and foremost, thank you for inviting me. And I don't know if I can call you by your government name, but I'll just go with Show. And
a
thank
lot
you
of
to
people don't a lot of people don't even know that, Manny. Come on.
I know, I know, but that's why I wanted to make sure.
Manny, you see what I said what I'm doing back here, right? You see what's there?
Yeah, anytime.
We're gonna get into that.
Uh,
We're gonna get into that. But
eh,
nah, man,
and,
it's an honor, man. It's an honor to have you here.
oh, it's my pleasure. But before I forget, I want to say thanks to all your viewers and your listeners, wherever they're viewing or listening from. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. I really appreciate this time and this platform. Thank you, Show.
Nah, man, anytime. So, but before I even get into the things I have lined up here, now I need to know what's Leche about.
Leche, well,
You did it. I don't have that much reach on you, bro.
wow, you might get me in trouble, man. This goes all the way back to high school, over 20 years ago. Leche, I used to play volleyball at South Miami Senior High, home of the Cobras. What's up, class of '99? Um, and Leche, I guess it has a bunch of different meanings, but I'm gonna give you the PG-13 story. It's basically in our South Florida demographics, there's not a lot of fair-skinned Cubans, let's just say, or Cubans as white as I am. So they just named me Leche, because of my white skin. Pero soy tremendo cubano, so no se equivoquen de eso.
Okay.
And yeah, I embraced the name, and I love it. I love it ever since. So whenever I hear that name, Leche, I know it's somebody from way, way back. It's one of my number ones. Somebody saying what's up, man.
My wife has a similar name, and I call her that when I want to get underneath her skin. And then she gives me that look like, bro, you're not supposed to say that, but that's for another episode of
Yeah,
certain
let's not get you in trouble.
things. So, I mean, I want to dig into it. I know you're a very busy man. I'm not going to say where you are right now, but just know that.
It's
Um,
okay. You can say where I am. I don't
well,
mind. I'm
well,
in
that's a question. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad,
That's
my bad, my bad.
that's a kind of a question where I'm gonna go with this. So I'm setting it up. I'm trying to be a professional here. So like I said, Manny is the founder, owner. What do you want to call it? What is your exact title of ISPS?
Everybody calls me the commish, the commissioner of ISPS. So you could go with that. But yeah, I am the founder. We started this about more than 15 years ago now. After my younger brother. Is this one of your questions, or you want me to just go?
You can go. I'll skip around, bro. Go ahead. Do what you gotta do.
About more than 50, now it's been more than 15 years ago. I lost my brother in Iraq, my only brother, PFC Marius El Ferrero, better known as Mario or Bolo. Um, and we lost him. We lost him in Iraq. He was a soldier in the U.S. Army, and he was killed in action. And we decided between some friends and family of ours to just start we played baseball all of our lives since we were kids in little league, and we played a little bit of slow pitch softball once we got older, and we started a 16 men's league in his honor on Sunday nights back at Chapman Field in South Dade. And it just started growing, and people liked the way we would organize the leagues, and then we started dabbing into a little bit of tournaments, and we started expanding throughout Florida. And around 2011, we hosted a tournament in Puerto Rico. And then we decided, coño, this might be something, there could be a possibility of expanding our sport and growing this to just not Florida. And then we decided to change our name to International SlowPitch Softball, ISPS. And the rest is history, as they say. We've been in Africa, we've been all through Central and South America, all around the Caribbean, Europe. COVID got in the way of Australia and Asia, but now hopefully in 24 we will revisit those two projects, which are my two final frontiers, which is Asia and Australia. And then we will just continue growing, continue expanding, and showcasing this sport to the rest of the globe, which is one of the greatest sports I believe in on the face of the earth. We just need better people behind it, and more passionate people that are in it for the right reasons and not in it for the wrong reasons.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, you kind of touched on this a little bit. So, for those that didn't hear you, ISPS stands for International Slow Pitch. So what's your background? I know, like, do you have a 9 to 5? This is your full-time job. What is your background and before ISPS?
Well, before ISPS, I'm a college dropout, pretty much. I'm like Kanye. You could call me Ye. I'm a college dropout from Miami-Dade Community College. Back in my youth, let's just say I got I had started hanging around the wrong people.
Statute of limitations, Manny. Statute of limitations. Come on.
It's okay. I don't have anything to hide. We're young. We're all young ones. And, I did stupid things. One of them was to drop out of college. And I started working. For my uncle, Uncle Dino, may he rest in peace. He owned a bunch of Nextel and Sprint stores, and I was a service manager. I believe it or not, back in the days, I could open up a cell phone and repair it and solder on motherboards and put capacitors and basically fix any cell phone back then when cell phones were like real phones. Now they're just screens pretty much. But yeah, and then right around then was when I lost my brother, and I believe self-diagnosis. I had a nervous breakdown when my brother died. I really couldn't function. I couldn't work. Everything would remind me of him. I really couldn't. I couldn't get back to life. So SlowPitch Softball and the league, and Florida Adult Softball back then, and all of our friends and families, they with their help, we got this going, and it got my mind off of things, and I just continued doing this. I also have Mario Soldiers, which is a nonprofit organization that's completely in his honor, and it helps underprivileged children and military families, and it always honors Gold Star families, which a Gold Star family is someone who has a family that has lost a loved one, in a service member loved one in action or during active duty. Those are Gold Star families. So we try to stay as busy as possible and try to do as much good as possible around the world, and even in our own backyard, with some of the charity events that we do with Mario Soldiers. Like, we do a golf tournament, we do some poker and dominoes, and a lot of things. We do breakfast with Santa around the holidays at Ronald McDonald's house. We do a lot of toy drives at local high schools, like my brother's high school over there at Coral Park Senior High. We just try to keep doing good, man. Try to keep doing good.
Hey, I'm all for that. I'm a well-known philanthropist in my own right, especially during COVID, but that again for another time. So you mentioned you did play Little League. Do you play slow pitch? Like, did you do this? Do you play? Because every time I've ever seen, and I've had the esteemed honor of meeting you this past weekend. We're gonna get into the weekend as well. Every time I've seen you, you're always very well put together. You're very business minded. Does Manny let his hair down? Does he play slow pitch?
What hair, bro? My hair's always down apparently. Dude, I don't play in the United States. I don't play anymore in the United States. Whenever I play, it's outside the United States. Not that I'm good or anything. It's just I don't want people to think that I'm somehow, some way manipulating the game or somehow, some way have anything to do with the umpires making a good or bad call. So I don't want to even entertain that stuff. So I play where they don't know me. The last time I played, I think, was in Mexico in Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico. I played there, and I'm scheduled to play again in Mexico, I think next month in Mazatlan. So yeah, I do play. I play, but I mostly play tennis and golf now. I don't play softball that much in the United States.
All right. So being that you brought it up, I'm gonna ask a couple more questions. That's not really on my list, but let's get into it. One, you said you do play. What positions do you play?
Well, I grew up playing shortstop and second base, the middle infield, but then as we got a little older, then I
Father
moved out.
time.
Yeah, I moved out to the outfield, and then now I strictly play catcher, man. Just leave me behind the plate. I'm good back there. I'm solid.
So what's your handicap in golf? Because golf is a sport that I
Oh,
really want to get into, but I've never played before. So
that's
I know big deals are done on the golf course, and I'm trying to be a part of that life. But I also feel like I mean I go to Top Golf, things like that.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but I definitely want to learn how to play golf. So I don't even know what handicap means, but I'm gonna ask you because I can figure it out later. But what's your handicap in golf?
I don't know what my handicap is now. It's probably plus 15 or plus 20. I'm not really good, man. I don't really have that much time to go out there and waste, not waste, but spend 4 hours on the golf course, because that's about the average it takes to play a round. But yeah, I'm around 90 to 100. I'm in that range. I'm not very good. I'm not very bad either. I could hold my own. Um, but yeah, I love the game. It is so frustrating. It is one of the most difficult sports I've ever played in my life. And you could play 18 rounds. You could take 100 shots, and it just that one just perfect swing keeps you coming back every time. I don't care if you have 99 awful swings. That one swing that you just feel it, it just feels smooth. You'll come back and spend your next paycheck at the golf course.
Well, I mean, the reason why I love or I would love to play golf is because it reminds me of slow pitch, right? Because you
Yeah.
can come to the plate. I had somebody recently. I was playing in a tournament and they refused, and I don't know why. We'll get into that later, but they refused to give me a pitch to hit, and they walked me all weekend. They walked me, and the person behind me was a girl because the guy can get second or whatever.
Yeah.
And I drove 5 hours to play this tournament, and the girl was just like, "Well, you didn't." My team started to lose, and I said, "Well, I didn't drive out 5 hours to get eliminated." And the girl that was behind me said, "Well, you didn't drive 5 hours to walk either." In my mindset, I'm being a team player. I don't want to swing at something because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If I swing and I get out, I'm a bad teammate. But if I
Right.
walk, it seems like I'm a bad teammate. So I bring that all up to say, with one swing, you can actually enjoy the game of slow pitch, no matter if you're in a slump or if you're on your high horse. Um, So I think it's almost the same, no?
That's really good. That's a really good way of putting it. I never thought of it that way. Yeah, sometimes you do. Yeah, especially if you're a feared hitter in the slow pitch diamond, they might not give you a pitch all day. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I'm not a feared hitter by no means. Anybody watching this, y'all know I get on first and then I call for a runner. I'm out of here. So, so international slow pitch softball.
Yeah.
Now, there was somebody right now, and you touched on this a little bit, but I want you to expand on this. There was a USA track runner that said the NBA are world champions, right? In the NBA, they give a world champion hat, they give a world champion ring. Is ISPS really international, or is that just something that you're just putting out? Oh, I'm international.
Well, I 100% we're international. We, as a matter, look, I could give you an example. I believe there's 5 or 6 teams coming from Guatemala this year for Worlds. I believe Bahamas is coming. No, I'm sorry, not Guatemala. Honduras. Honduras is sending 5 or 6 teams. Guatemala sending another one. Bahamas is sending another one. Puerto Rico. Um, yeah, it's open to the entire world. Obviously, not every team has the means or the opportunity, let's say, to travel to the United States every year to participate in World Championship. Yeah, they are welcomed, of course. Different. The way we do it is every country, every region, every state has a state director or a national director. He or she is pretty much has authority over their jurisdiction. I'll give you an example. In Guatemala, you have to win a berth or you have to qualify to participate in Worlds. So that's why they're only sending one team. In Honduras, they allow anyone that wants to come and participate in Worlds to come and participate in Worlds. A lot of well, let me explain something to you. This is not like the Olympics. This is clubs. This is more like club teams, like kind of like the World Series, but it's open to the entire world. It's not like the Olympics where everybody on Team Argentina is Argentinian. No, you're gonna see, for example, one of the teams from Honduras has some players from, I believe, Honduras, of course, Guatemala, and some other neighboring countries, because all those little countries in Central America, they're very drivable distance wise. So they have players from other nationalities, and that's perfectly fine, because you're going to find that here, especially in South Dade, in South Florida, you're going to find some teams that are club teams that have Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, all on the same team. So yeah, it is worldwide, and it is like a World Series, but it's nothing. It's not something like the Olympics where it's divided by nationalities.
Correct. No, the reason I ask is because the first time I saw ISPS, I'll be honest with you, was probably about 2013, 2014,
Okay.
when I moved to Florida and I started playing slow pitch. And I saw ISPS and I saw your name, and I'm like, I wonder if this guy's really doing international or if he's just putting that on his name. And, again, getting to know you now, I'm like, wow, this is because I did look at your website. So we're going to get into that a little bit. And you do have some people on your website that are, I believe they're directors from different countries. One of the countries, I mean, do you care to go over the countries? Because I know you just came back from Africa, and I saw on your YouTube video, which we're gonna put in the description. Make sure you go subscribe to ISPS Slow Pitch Softball in the description. You just came back from doing African, and I believe you were in Nigeria, and you
No,
had somebody. It wasn't out
South
there.
South
South
Africa.
Africa. Okay. And you're trying to or maybe you did expand. Do you care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, man. Africa was, wow, what an experience. Yeah, we went over there to learn about Africa, learn about the culture, the continent. It was an eye-opening experience. I did not expect to see what I saw. You know, you think of Africa and you automatically think of the jungle and lions and elephants and stuff like that. But I landed in Johannesburg, and it's a completely modern metropolis with skyscrapers, huge buildings just like New York. Um, and then I traveled to Cape Town. Cape Town is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever visited in the world. Natural beauty. And then I was fortunate enough to visit a small village. I hope I'm not butchering this name, but it's Kalgaskral or something like that, where we held a clinic to kind of show some of the locals about our game and about slow pitch. And man, I had a breakdown. I had to actually step away because I saw so many young children and kids and young adults, so passionate and so interested in learning about our game. But almost if not all of them were completely barefoot, and they were playing completely barefoot, and it really, that scene really hit me. They were so happy, so appreciative, and I thought, when I was a kid or when I was in high school, I used to collect Jordans. I used to collect Nikes. I used to collect shoes. I used to have hundreds of shoes. And it hit me like a ton of bricks where, these kids and these young adults, these people, they don't have anything. They don't have anything. And they're happy. We gave each one of them a shirt, an ISPS shirt. We had blue and green, and we separated into blue and green team, and we had a little scrimmage, but they were so appreciative of that shirt, that simple shirt. And it just hit me. I had to step away because I didn't want them to see me in that state. I really started bawling, and it really, really hit me. So yeah, I that's one of my main projects, is to get back to Africa to get them some more supplies. They're in dire need of equipment, bats, softballs, gloves, especially shoes. So maybe I could call out to some of your viewers and your listeners, and if they have any old stuff that they're not using anymore, aluminum bats, old shoes, gloves, anything that you want to get rid of, I will personally take it with me next time to Africa and personally donate it to the kids, and give it to them so that they can learn and play some more. Because dude, that was a like one of the most humbling experiences I have ever had in my life.
Well, I'll tell you this. Me personally here, I do a lot. Right now I live in Maryland, right outside of the Baltimore area. I know what it is. It's not a third world country, but to me, the way I see Baltimore is, it might as well be. I will make it my effort. My company, Slow Pitch World, will gather donations of unused bats. We have some connections with certain foot apparel people. If we can get them to donate as well, from me to you, you got it.
That's
And
cool,
if we can also donate anything, jerseys, if they need a couple of jerseys, and
anything.
I'm down for that, bro. Because
T-shirts, old championship T-shirts, league shirts. I know you guys have closets full of them. I know probably your spouses are begging you to throw some of this crap out.
mine especially.
And we start accumulating and accumulating league champion shirts. Yeah, and it's great, but how often are you going to wear it? You might as well donate it to somebody that will appreciate it. And trust me, guys, they see those things and their eyes, their face light up. They love all that stuff because they don't have access to anything. They don't have access to nothing.
Well, on behalf of Slow Pitch World, we will get with you and we'll donate as much as we can. I will say on record here to say I can commit to at least donating at least $500 worth of some materials. I will reach out to other sponsors that are part of our platform and see if they can give as well. But yeah, so but not only Africa, you do have directors in other countries. What other countries are you in right now that you hold tournaments in these countries as well, right?
Yeah, Puerto Rico, Honduras, Guatemala, Colombia, Italy, Spain, off the top of my head, Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, South Africa, of course. I hope I'm not. Argentina. How can I forget Argentina? Obviously the United States. I hope I'm not forgetting any.
I don't think you are.
Those are the ones that are most active. I'm pretty sure I'm missing maybe a couple that we've maybe only. Oh, the Bahamas, of course. What am I thinking? Like, for example, the Bahamas, we haven't been there in a couple of years because a few years ago, one of those hurricanes destroyed the field that we were actually using it. So we are currently talking to get back over there to the Bahamas. The U.S. Virgin Islands is another one that we're actively talking to. We're trying to see. I know a lot of Americans, they, not that they fear traveling, is that they might be a little weary of traveling abroad. So if I would suggest something, maybe trying Puerto Rico or maybe the Virgin Islands, somewhere where it's very Americanized. You don't need a passport to get there. Maybe you could use this experience to see how it is to travel abroad and play slow pitch. But yeah, sometimes when you go to some of these countries like Mexico is a complete party, guys. You guys, I cannot explain to you how much fun it is to play slow pitch softball in Mexico. The stadiums get packed. They get packed like a major league. Obviously not hundreds of thousands of people, but thousands of people come to watch slow pitch softball, especially if it's a foreign team. And I just think the American slow pitch softball player needs to travel abroad to experience that, so that maybe they could come back home and say, damn, we need to kind of like make this a little bit more of a party and make this more more of an experience, not just slow pitch, but make it an experience for the whole family to enjoy. Yeah.
So my thing is, well, one, these questions just came to me now, not off the script here. Why? Well, the first thing is you said stadiums. Are they really stadiums or they're fields?
In Puerto Rico, we play in a stadium. We play at the Pedro Perucho Cepeda Stadium. In Panama, we're looking to play at the Rod Carew National Stadium. It depends, Joe. Some of these countries, obviously, they're third world countries.
Yep.
You're not gonna see like the county parks or the city parks here or back home in the United States. You're not gonna see. You might find some municipality parks, but they're not in any conditions like they are in the United States. The ones that are well maintained and safe are mostly private. They're private clubs, private fields. For example, in Panama, again, to bring up Panama, Bruce Chen. I don't know if you remember Bruce Chen. He was a former professional major league pitcher. He has a he has a private sports complex over there. I think it's called Sports City or something like that, where they have a couple of fields. It's totally private with security. It's well maintained. You're not gonna see it like that in a municipal park. Municipal park, it's it's the local barrio field where you might see a goat out there in center field eating the grass. There's no dugouts. There's no bases. It's a municipal park. So yeah, most of the time when we host outside of the United States, it's either at a stadium or at a private, most probably at a private field that has the capabilities, and most importantly is the safety. The safety outside of the United States is very important.
Right. So with my viewers right now, I definitely had some conversations with people wanting to go play outside the United States. They either don't know where to play or they don't feel safe. Is there some sort of safety, like, all right, cool, we're gonna play at this field, this hotel or this resort is good to go back and forth to, or I want you to be honest, is it going to be some sort of a travel? Because I just came back from Puerto Rico. I'm different. I'm very different, because my life goal, and not to get off a slow pitch, but my life goal and my wife's life goal is to visit every ghetto in the world. So I go to certain hoods and certain areas that are very underprivileged, I guess you could say. I've been to Compton, I've been to, Chicago, I've been to the South Side. I'm from New York City, so I've been all over New York City. When we went to Puerto Rico, forgive me for mispronouncing this. Yes, I am 100% Puerto Rican, but I do not speak Spanish that well. But I went to Imperial Park.
La Perla.
La Perla Park. I went down the stairs. I have no problem going around. You know what I mean?
But isn't it so much more
refreshing?
I love it. I love going to the ghetto. I love going to those places where, like La Perla, Comuna 13 in Medellin, like places like that. I believe is like the real deal of wherever the destination that you're on.
Correct.
Now, it might not be for everyone, but if you have the opportunity, and I would suggest that you go with somebody local. Go for it, try it out. But back to your question about the safety abroad.
So basically, if we got together, you and I, and put something where we can take a team or 5 or 10 abroad, or even as individual players, which I'm going to get into a little bit, in our further questions. Can we guarantee their safety? I would say yes, but I don't want to say guarantee, because guarantee is a strong word when you're talking about overseas. But what guarantee can we say that if a team or individuals came out to play slow pitch softball overseas, that they'll be safe?
Well, that's what we do. So where I am right now, that's what I'm doing right now, is we vet the stadiums, we vet the destination, we kind of research the area, we find local host hotels that are safe, secure. We also put together ¿cómo se dice eso? Shuttles to and from the airport and the hotel, and not only the airport, the hotel and the sports complex. We put it together for them. We offer it for them. We don't put a gun to their heads and say, look, you have to stay at this hotel. You have to use this transportation service. We don't make you use it. We offer it for you. And these are the ones that we have already vetted, that we know are safe, that we know are secure. we know that you're not going to have any issues. If you want to go on your own and you know get your own hotels and do your own stuff, by all means, that's not an issue. Typically, all of the destinations that we go to are pretty safe, especially if you stay in the touristy areas or you stay near the hotel areas. You don't venture off by yourself. But, look, anything can happen anywhere. Anything can happen. It can happen in your own neighborhood.
Correct.
You just have some common sense and be aware of your surroundings anywhere you go. But yeah, like you said, there's no 100% guarantee. Anything could happen, even at a host hotel or even with a transportation company. Anything could happen. But yes, we do vet them. We do research all of these companies and hotels, and whenever we use a private complex or anything like that, we work hand in hand with them to kind of, especially the foreigners. The locals, they already know how to move and the lay of the land, but the foreigners, they don't know. So we really try to work with the destination to try to keep them as safe as possible. Yeah, because when they go back home, we want them to say that they had a great experience, and to tell their friends and family that they had a tremendous time, so that they could come back next year or the next time.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I'm a little bit of a different breed. I'm pretty sure, Manny, you kind of fall into this breed, just having a discussion with you. And for those of you guys that I've been following Manny since about 2013 ish. But I had the opportunity to meet Manny a couple of days ago and really talk some personal things with him about slow pitch and his life and what I want to do. And one thing that you and I kind of agreed on, again, this is off the script, is that slow pitch should definitely be bigger than what it is right now. One thing that I told you that I think maybe you and you're willing to smile ear to ear right now is pickleball,
Oh,
cornhole, all on ESPN.
yeah.
Why not slow pitch?
Why not slow pitch?
I'm asking you, why do you think?
Why do I think slow pitch?
Even on ESPN 8, 12, 15, all the ESPN channels they have, why can't we get something? Because to further dive into and kind of get your mind rolling is there's worlds, right? There's and I'm not gonna call out any sanction because I want to talk to every sanction representative, but there's worlds for this, there's worlds for that. To me, and what bothers me the most is it worlds or is it really the US? Because what you're bringing is worlds. If I can put together, or you can put together, a tournament here in the United States to bring people from other countries or in their country and bring some stimulation to their economy, one representative of every state, why can't we bring 50, have a tournament where there's 50 teams brought from every state, we bring them to Guatemala to play against the Guatemalan team, plus the Honduras team, plus the African team. That's a worlds to me. Yeah, and I think ESPN would love something like that.
I think they would. I think ESPN would. I don't think a tournament like that will be able to be hosted anywhere outside of the United States for now. Simply because of the facilities. We don't have sports complexes. Look, just this past weekend in York, Pennsylvania, there was eight fields at that sports complex in York, Pennsylvania. You're not going to find that outside of the United States. You will find that for soccer. That's definitely, you'll find that outside of the United States for soccer, but not for baseball and softball. You might find 1, 2, maybe 3 softball fields or baseball fields near each other. I could be wrong. I haven't traveled the entire world, but from my travels, I have not seen the mega sports complexes like in the United States, outside of the United States, as far as diamond sports.
Right. Well,
And what?
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, go
Oh,
ahead.
I was gonna continue with your question. Why has softball not grown? Look, slow pitch or softball is actually older than baseball. So why is softball not to the level of Major League Baseball? I don't know. It's something that boggles my mind almost on a daily basis, where I think it might have to do possibly with the stigma of it being a recreational sport. You know, the beer league, the weekend warrior stories that we always hear. That uphill battle of battling against those 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 types of mentalities that regular society that does not play our sport have about our sport. That battle, the battle of the powers that be, the old generation of the good old boys club, like they call it, where they're just stuck in their ways and they don't like to innovate, they don't like to adapt, they don't like to evolve, and that kind of has hurt some of the older or some of the regional associations, or where they were comfortable, and they just never evolved with the times, and they allowed other sanctions and other associations to offer a better product or offer a better game. But still, I believe that there might also be a little bit of greed on part of the higher ups in some of these associations. I'm sure all of you have seen in recent news some of the salaries that some of these higher ups are making, and it's really eye opening, because ISPS doesn't ISPS as a whole doesn't even make anywhere near one of those um, board members on some of these associations, and then you start thinking all this money, and it's not tens of thousands, it's not hundreds of thousands, it's millions of dollars that go to salaries instead of growing our sport and reinvesting money or profits back into our sport, instead of, you know, giving someone, let's say, a $500,000 salary for what? I don't see it as fair, especially when some of these associations are quote unquote nonprofit organizations. ISPS is not a nonprofit. We are a for-profit organization, but we run it almost entirely like a nonprofit business model, where we reinvest into the business. None of our employees have salaries. It's all based on performance-based compensation. Not even I don't even have a salary. I don't make not 1 cent on salary. You know, whatever expenses I have are taken care of, but it's 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 mind-boggling to see the millions and millions of dollars that are going to salaries instead of going back into the game. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad because I know the game. I kind of know the game, not just behind the scene, but even on an international level. And I know some of the players, the puppet masters behind the scenes, and I see what they're doing, and it's quite disturbing, their plans for the future, and what's coming. Look, I'm gonna be quite candid right now, but there is plans on a global scale. There is plans to make baseball a purely masculine sport, and fast pitch completely feminine, and slow pitch will I don't think it will happen, but slow pitch will be completely co-ed. And then they have another deviation of the sport, which I'm not gonna name it, but where you don't use any equipment at all, and it's kind of a developmental game. But that is their global agenda, is to kind of separate the sports by gender, and I'm not on board with it. I believe slow pitch should be for everyone, men, women, and children, and old people. Um, and I will continue fighting to continue making slow pitch better and better, and keeping it free, from the tyranny of these so-called heads of associations.
All right. Hey, I'm
I'm
with you.
sorry I went on a long.
No, 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 no. Hey, this is what we're here for, and you know what? This is good, to let the people know. But I'm definitely going to ask the question of um what do you so well the real question I want to ask, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush, is so to the person that says, well, Manny, you don't get paid, your expenses are paid for, because you did say some things about other things that you can Google, so we're not going to get into it. So how do you make a living for yourself with ISPS if you don't make a salary?
Oh no, well, I have real estate investments and stuff like that I do. That's where I make my personal money. But ISPS, I don't have a salary. I mean, um, the expenses that I'm talking about are like, for example, right now, if I'm on a business trip and I need to
What you are.
have a meal, which I am right now, or have an Uber, the company will pay for those expenses. Um, but that's pretty much to the extent of the salaries that we make. Directors, obviously, they get compensated for their tournaments. Umpires, of course, for when they work their games. But the board doesn't have a salary. I don't have a salary. It's just, I don't know. I don't I don't know if I could sleep at night if I dude, this was started in honor of my brother. And like I was talking to Bam yesterday about this. All the hate that we receive, all the hate that I receive, um, I we started this in honor of my brother, and it was a 16 men's league. So yeah, like that was my that was my goal. So everything that has happened or has happened since then is gravy on top. Like I I would have never in my wildest dreams thought that I would travel the world for slow pitch softball. So, you know, for people to hate on ISPS or hate on me or hate on our directors or whatever, like, okay, let them keep hating. We are so winning right now. Like we would probably have to lose for the next 15 or 20 years to kind of even out where we are right now. I just think we're going to continue winning and continue expanding and continue growing. Um, and yeah, of course, we're going to continue getting haters and getting all the hate. But if you don't have any haters, then apparently you're not doing something right or something like that. It goes to say,
You're showing your age, Manny. You're showing your age.
yeah, there you go. What do you
No,
do, man?
man, I definitely commend you. Again, if you're not knowing what Manny's talking about, when this drops, look about a week or two earlier, you'll see certain things. So we're gonna leave that alone. The haters gonna hate. You still doing your thing. Before I touch on this next subject, I definitely want to talk to you about the bets that's going on right now. Certain sanctions are telling certain bat companies they can't use their bats. Certain sanctions are, banning bats. There's lawsuits. There's this. There's that. I don't want to get too heavy into it, but ISPS events, what bats are allowed, what are the standards as far as bats is concerned?
No, we have not honored any lawsuits or any bans or anything. We allow any 220 to 240 ASA U-trip. We allow any stamp bat in our game. Obviously, senior bats are only for senior divisions. But yeah, that's been one of our I guess things that we've always allowed the bats from any stamp. We don't really judge the bats. We believe, at least I personally believe, that whole banning of bats and I think it's all money driven. There's an old, I don't know if it's an old saying, but there's a saying, es el indio y no la flecha. It's the Indian and not the arrow. So at the end of the day, you still got to swing the bat. So yeah, the only thing I do not agree with is altering bats, shaving bats, that type of stuff. And especially at some of our major events, we do have bat testing machines on site to try to prevent that. But nothing, like you say, nothing is 100% guaranteed. So we really do frown upon that, is when people start altering their bats and doing that, because somebody could get hurt. As you know, one of our players a few years ago passed away from being hit with a batted ball. We don't know if it was, we don't know, but we want to avoid any type of injuries or any type of mishaps like that.
Absolutely. I wasn't. I don't know if it was the same player you're talking about, but when I first moved to Florida, there was a man by the name of Fusco that
Yes,
was
right.
yeah, he was just newly married, and
Yes,
he was playing, I believe, in the Jacksonville area at the time.
right. Correct.
Got hit with a ball, and you know, I'm not saying this for publicity or nothing. I'm just I was new to the softball era. Fusco was definitely somebody that I think I played with or seen play once. Very athletic. Um, Several times pulled off triple plays when he was not pitching. He pitched this particular event. Ball came at him and hit him. He was rushed to the hospital, died, and he is very missed. And we can't overlook that with everything that's going on with the bats right now. This is a man that his reflexes were great, in my opinion, from the one time I seen him play and just other times I've seen him on Facebook play. His reflexes were great, and he got, you know, hit and you know, devastating travesty. To be honest with you, this is kind of why I started this, Manny. I don't know if you know. I want my goal to starting Slow Pitch World Media was to do a documentary on bats, but we're not going to get into that right now. But yeah, man.
And wait,
So
before we move on, I didn't want to mention the player's name, but since you already did, yeah, Greg Fusco, he played in one of our tournaments in the Bahamas. And yeah, it happened in Jacksonville. It did not happen at one of our events. But I remember him. I remember meeting him a few weeks before the tragedy and speaking to him. Great guy. And I remember, and this is one of the things about the slow pitch softball community. I remember we reached out to the family, and I remember we wanted to make a new rule where on our lineup cards at the bottom we called it the Greg Fusco rule, whether your pitcher was going to wear a mask or not. If you did not, you had to check no, and that you were going to give up any liability or any of that stuff. But we named it the Greg Fusco rule in his honor. You have no idea, show how much negative press we got from the community, saying that we were somehow, some way making money off of Greg Fusco death. Like how I don't understand, how are we making money off of naming the rule and putting his name on all of our lineup cards, which this past weekend at York, we used those same lineup cards with the Greg Fusco rule on the bottom.
Yep.
But it's incredible the how sometimes some people in the community automatically, they get to a fork in the road and they automatically 99% of the time they go towards the negative, like what the negative outcome. For example, again, back to York, Pennsylvania. We had a $50,000 grant from York, Pennsylvania.
We're getting into that, Manny. We're getting into that.
Oh, I'm good. I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, just to touch again, I played in the Fusco tournament that was held in the Blue Jay Stadium in Clearwater, St. Pete area, Dunedin. Sorry, Dunedin. I met Fusco's mom personally. I still kind of contact with her. It was, and I'm hit her up and told her what I wanted to do as far as a documentary, and she's like, something has to be done. Something has to be done. So, with that said, I don't know the answer to the rule, but I do know that certain people will cheat for SlowPitch Softball, and I don't know why. We're not out there getting paid. There's no $1 million contracts on the line or nothing like that. I'm a base hitter. That's where I'll always be. And if you ever see me hit it over the fence, either I put in work or I have a shaved bat, and I'm willing to tell you I will never have a shaved bat ever in my life. And I believe, and this is me, this is not ISPS, this is not Manny, this is show. I believe that if you take that mound, you should have protective gear on. And if you don't have protective gear on, there should be a net. Period. Point blank. I don't care if it's a part of the game. I don't care nothing else that you guys have to say. Protect yourself, because you're playing this game, whether it be league or tournaments, on a weekend or weekday, but you still have to go home to your wife and kid. You still have to wake up on Monday morning and go to work, because this is not what you do for a living. And even if it is what you do for a living, you still want to be there for your family. So I'm gonna move on and not touch on that, because I no, I'm not gonna do this. So you talked real quick about York, Pennsylvania. That is one place that I met you at, and I want to kind of run through this really quick if possible. You got, and you touched on it, wasn't even me that brought it up, but York, Pennsylvania gave you a grant. You can tell me how much it was. You don't want to tell me. I know it's all over your stuff. But let's touch real quick on York, Pennsylvania, the events that happened this weekend, and what was the turnout and all that.
Bueno, York, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Laura and Rashida and Morgan and Lydia and all the wonderful team over there at the destination. I met Laura a few years ago, and they invited me over to York, Pennsylvania to visit the destination, to see the fields, and then COVID got in the way. And then after COVID, I guess their county and their region started, I guess, pouring some money back into the community to try to bring tourism back and try to stimulate the local try to stimulate local economy. So they asked us if we wanted to apply for a grant to bring an event to York, Pennsylvania. We said, yeah, sure, of course. And they helped us. They helped us a lot on how to put it together and what needed to be done. We filled it out. We were approved for a $50,000 grant. We went out there. We had a press conference, beautiful press conference on the stadium field. They presented me with a huge giant check. So it was public knowledge. So that information, I kind of felt, they're giving us $50,000. $50,000 is 100 teams at a $500 entry. That's $50,000. So I said, what would be the best way to kind of, release this money to the people so that they could take advantage of it. So we decided to make a discount code for free entry to the first 100 teams to come to nationals in York, Pennsylvania, and show again, SlowPitch Softball community. They get to a fork in the road, and 99% of the time they go towards the negative comments. Like,
let me tell them what it was.
What?
It was a scam, Manny. What you trying to do, Papa?
Yeah. How could some association give 100 free entry fees? Like, this is a scam. This is not legit. All this garbage on social media. But yeah, we ended up having the tournament. Everybody played for free. Every manager got a tactical. Oh, look, let me show you.
I need one of those bags, Manny. I should have grabbed one while I was out there, but I need one of those. You can't see it on here because it's blurred, but I'll put it on there.
How do we do this? Wait. I can do this.
I'll put it up, Manny. I got send me a picture of it. I think I got a picture of it, but if I didn't, I'll grab one.
I can't blur it. I can't.
But no. I got you. The tactical bags were great, and
it was a beautiful tactical bag.
It is.
Every team got tournament shirts. Every team got this special limited edition commemorative patch to put on their jersey. Just a bunch of goodies. Again, everybody played for free. There was prizes. Every champion team will receive custom, not generic. Let me repeat that a third time. Not generic, custom, one-of-a-kind rings, national champion rings with your player name, your player number, your player position, the team logo, completely customized, and totally free show.
Yeah. So break down the weekend real quick. I know you got some things you got to do. So break down the weekend real quick. Friday night was what?
Friday night we hosted the home run derby. Steve Hauer was the champion. You could check all that stuff on our YouTube channel.
Yep.
Congratulations to him. It was a fantastic showing. Everybody was hitting the hardcore Dudley Thunder Advance. No more rocks. And yeah, Saturday we had the women's senior division, men's lower and men's upper. And then we finalized on Sunday with the co-ed divisions.
Okay. And what would you say if you had some time to talk to the people? What's in the future for ISPS? What is the overall goal?
And the overall goal is just to continue expanding, continue growing the sport. Like I said at the beginning of your show, my next two frontiers is Asia and Australia, which I should be there hopefully in 2024. I think Asia might be the end of 2023, but 2024 should be Australia. And what I mean by this is just ISPS touching those continents. To actually host an event in those two places would probably take us another couple of years to rightfully plan it and do it right.
To do it properly.
Yeah, to do it properly. So that is our main objectives is to continue growing the sport, to continue expanding, to have any directors, any umpires, any staff, any local community leaders that want to learn about ISPS or join our family. We welcome them with open arms. And yeah, that's pretty much it, show. Is just continue growing our sport, man. If nobody else is going to do it, we got to do it ourselves.
I got one more question for you, and then I'm gonna let you go, Manny. Sorry for keeping you up. Manny's live right now from Mexico because he's trying to get things done. But
Mexico City, Ciudad Mexico, órale, way.
Hey, so my last question might be a loaded question, and I apologize if it is. You can answer it the way you want. There's a lot of drafts going on, player drafts, everything. You don't have to touch on certain companies. I mean, if you want to, it's on you. But what do you think about the player drafts? And do you think that ISPS will do a player draft so that way people can go to other countries and experience this without a whole entire team? And do you think that the player drafts is something that's saturated, that's good, that's bad? I know it's kind of a loaded question, but that's my last question for you.
Oh, I don't think they're bad. I think once in a while we should host draft tournaments. We have hosted draft tournaments in the past with various different companies where we pair up with a company and do a draft tournament with them. And we will be doing more in the future, of course. But yeah, that would be something something to look forward to in the future, to do a draft outside of the United States.
I want to vote Puerto Rico. If we can make Puerto Rico happen, Manny, I might have some people for you.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot. My bad, bro.
No, we could do a free agent team, which is a lot more feasible than a draft tournament outside of the United States. I'll tell you why. The draft format is still not. It still hasn't reached out there. They don't know it yet. They're very apprehensive of playing with people they don't know. So it might be something that they have to get educated on, or have to see it to I guess they have to experience it a little bit more first. But yeah, it could be a possibility. Maybe in Mexico, who's a little bit more developed in the slow pitch world, Honduras maybe might be able to do something like that. Puerto Rico might be able to do something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Puerto Rico, because I know there's a couple of draft tournaments coming up all over. They're popping all over the United States. And certain people want to play outside of the United States, and Puerto Rico came up on my radar. People asking me, so I'm like,
yeah,
I know the perfect person I'm gonna ask.
Be on the lookout. I'm working on something for October. Maybe don't hold me to it. Maybe in October for Puerto Rico, but for sure in May is our annual Boricua Open.
But that's bring a complete team, not a draft. That's what I'm right.
That's a bring a complete team. But we also do free agent teams for those individuals that want to play, that don't have a full team but also want to play.
That's me. That's me. I might be out there if I'm not out there with media.
Do you have a passport?
Bro, I've DJ'd in Russia. I've DJ'd in Poland, Germany, Amsterdam, Switzerland. Bro, I've been around the world. Don't question my gangster.
Oh, man, you can't see
no, we don't want to see your passport, bro.
And I don't know.
I've DJ'd in Italy. I've DJ'd, bro. You need to ask.
I don't even know how they let me into this country, because I have no spot.
They put it in the spots. You know, they just look for the open where the stamp is. Wherever they can fit it, that's where it is. They go in order until you fill up the pages, and then they start looking for a spot. You know that.
Yeah.
So
no. I already make my appointment to get a new passport.
Manny, I'm gonna let you go, but before I let you go, please shout out any social media, any contact, any websites, anything that you want the people to hit you up on. Please shout it out right now.
All right. First, our social media is ISPSO, almost on every platform, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
It's called
YouTube.
X, but that's fine.
What?
It's called X, not Twitter.
Oh, sorry, X. Elon, my bad, Mr. Musk. Um, on YouTube, it's ISPS Softball. I want to give a shout out first and foremost to all of our staff, especially this past weekend in York, Pennsylvania. Larry and Bam, they did a phenomenal job. Those are my two brothers. Lonzo, and the staff, the umpires, D Brown, Delicia Brown, and her whole staff over there in York, Pennsylvania. They did a fantastic job. The people at the park, the grounds crew, Mr. Bruce, Tom Landis, Tom Thomas, everybody at Destination Explore York, Laura, Rashida, Morgan, Lydia, everybody. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. Everyone back in Florida, shout out to Tank and Sweet and Baldy and Pam and everybody back home. We love you all. This is a ISPS family, and I love my ISPS family. Shout out to my mom, to my beautiful boy, Mango, and my girlfriend, Stefa. I love you. And that's about it, man. Show, thank you for giving me this platform.
Come on,
to,
man. You already know. You're a legend here. I'm trying to be like you when I grow up, Papa.
Oh, man.
Just, but I definitely want to connect. I definitely want to connect with you on multiple things. So we're gonna stay in touch. Enjoy Mexico. Keep putting down for the slow pitch community. We need people like you out here, man. Love you. Pleasure of talking with you. Pleasure of meeting with you. And we're gonna talk real soon, man.
And you too, Show. Keep doing what you're doing. I know we had a little bit of conversation on that. Don't listen to the noise. Keep the noise outside. Keep looking forward like a racehorse, man. Put your blinders on. Just move forward. All right. Keep doing what you do. I love it. I love Slow Pitch World. I love this whole vision that you have going on. Keep going. You have my number, so anything you need, anything I can help with, please do not hesitate.
I appreciate you, man. Enjoy your vacation. We'll talk soon, bro.
Okay.